So if you wanted to see the actual intraday data, that's this green, that's the QLD. The intraday pricing doesn't actually move a whole lot. This is something you might have seen posted on Twitter somewhere. People say, oh, look at the difference between the day and the night. Of course, the daytime in green versus the night in red, all of the action in the QLD is happening overnight. People will look at this and say, well, there's almost no point holding positions during the day, right? Sometimes people even ask themselves that. Why am I trying to target something where there's no performance coming from the daytime session and there's going to be all this intraday volatility? So this is where it gets into seasonality. And a lot of people have asked me, have you noticed that such and such months are really good for trading? Do you ever factor that in? I don't look at any seasonality, none of these patterns. They are all just statistical anomalies. They're not helpful for your trading. You certainly wouldn't want to get to a point where you're actually skipping the daytime session. And I'll just highlight a few of these points to illustrate. So look at what happened here in the financial crisis. 2008, clearly the green is ugly, the red not nearly as bad. And you would have been much better off just skipping the day session and just trading the overnight, right? That's not always the case. Look at here in 2022, a lot of the action this year is actually happening during the intraday pricing. So you wouldn't want to skip that for sure. You can see down here, it's actually pretty bad during the nighttime session, but that's not always consistent. You can see here, there's a difference as well. Big negative there, it's kind of chopping around flat here. You would want the day session. Here in 2020 pandemic, look at the great performance in the day session compared to this crash in the night session. So none of this is consistent. Here's another one in 2016 where the daytime is much better than the nighttime. So the point is, this is just a statistical anomaly. This is just basic seasonality stuff that you can't really capitalize on it. Plus, you wouldn't want to be churning all your trades anyway. There's really no point. I mean, obviously trade fees are very cheap these days, but no, I'm not going to be selling positions. In fact, I just kind of put that out of my mind. It's just part of trading. You understand that when you buy a position, unless there's a reason to get out of that position, like for me, we're tactical and we look at volatility levels. If I'm not going to get out of it, then I just let it go. The QLD, for example, in the defensive rotation, I think we held it from, the third week of March all the way into September. Uninterrupted, just held it for 6 months. That's really what you want. That's how you get your performance. There's no need to meddle with seasonality and day versus night.